If in your hardest moments you never pick up the phone, if solving every problem alone is something you quietly pride yourself on, and if asking for help feels less like reaching out and more like handing someone a weapon, I need you to hear this. That is not strength. Psychology has a name for what you're doing. It's called hyperindependence, and underneath it, there is almost always one quiet, devastating belief. No one is coming. Here's what I want to be really clear about from the start. You are not broken. You didn't choose this. You built it piece by piece because at some point in your life, depending on yourself was the only option that actually worked. But the architecture you built to survive childhood, it may be quietly costing you everything in your adult relationships. Let's talk about why. Developmental psychologists use a term called parentification. It describes what happens when a child is placed consciously or not in the emotional role of a caretaker. Maybe your parent leaned on you for emotional support. Maybe chaos at home meant you were the one keeping things stable. Maybe no one was ever really available, so you learn not to need them. When a child's needs are consistently unmet, the brain makes a logical adaptation. My needs are a burden. My needs are the problem. Fast forward 20 years. You're an adult who can't ask a colleague for 5 minutes of help without physically tensing up. That's not a personality trait. That's a wound that learned to dress itself up as independence. When you experience betrayal, neglect, or abandonment, especially in early relationships, your nervous system does something very efficient. It encodes a rule. The only safe person is me. This isn't pessimism. It was accuracy once, but the brain doesn't automatically update that file just because you're now in different circumstances with different people. So you screen every potential helper through a trauma-informed lens. What will they want in return? When will they let me down? What happens to me if I need them and they're not there? It's exhausting. And here's the part no one talks about. It's also profoundly lonely even when you're surrounded by people who love you. There's a specific equation running in the background of hyper-independent people. It goes like this. If I let you know I need you, I have given you the ability to hurt me. So vulnerability doesn't feel like connection. It feels like strategic risk. And your brain, trying to protect you, votes no every single time. Research in attachment theory pioneered by John Bowlby and expanded by Mary Ainsworth consistently shows that adults with avoidant attachment styles often score high on self-sufficiency metrics, while simultaneously scoring low on life satisfaction and relationship quality. You can be the most capable person in the room and the most quietly starving one. From the outside, hyper-independent people often look like the most together humans alive. They hit deadlines. They hold it down in a crisis. They're fine, but on the inside, there is a system running at full capacity all the time. Psychologists call this high-functioning anxiety, and one of its core features is that rest itself feels dangerous. If you stop doing, you might have to feel. If you feel, something might crack. And if something cracks, pause well. You were told, consciously or not, that cracking wasn't allowed. So you keep moving, you produce, you achieve, you take on more, and somewhere deep down you wonder why. Despite everything you've built, you still don't feel safe. Here's what healing hyperindependence doesn't look like. It doesn't look like suddenly oversharing or dismantling every boundary or trusting everyone. It looks like tiny, repeated experiments in risk. Neuroscientifically, every time you ask for something small and survive it, and the world doesn't end, your brain updates its threat model. Just slightly, just enough. So this week, ask for one thing you would normally handle alone. Not the big thing, the small one. Let someone carry 10% of a load you've been carrying at 100. Notice what happens in your body when you do it. That discomfort, that is not danger. That is your nervous system learning for the first time that you are allowed to be held. The most independent people I know are often the ones who needed to be the most. That capability you built, it's real, it's yours. But it was always meant to be a tool, not a life sentence. If this resonated with you, drop a comment below. Tell me, what's one thing you've been carrying alone that you probably shouldn't be? I read every single one. I'll see you next video.